hurt feelings in the process. Oh well.
So be it.
Yep. And while that, we weren't raised that way, and I don't want my son to be like that. You just have to train them, man. Like I basically just want to put him up on game as far as what these people are about. Like, if anything I learned with this Trump shit is that, well, I really never fully always trust them anyway, but they pretty much put it out there and laid it to rest. You can't trust them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just point blank period. You can't trust them. Even if they seem friendly, you still have to keep them at arm's length. You know what I mean? Like, tolerate them, but you ain't got to trust them. You know what I'm saying? You just got to do what you got. Go to work, do your job, go home, man. Don't really, put too much faith in them, because they'll put the knife in your back and stab you, like twist it. You know what I'm saying? You just can't really fully trust them. And I just want my son to grow up and be a good person. Do everything that's right, but at the same time, don't fall victim to them. You know what I'm saying? Because they will take advantage of you if you not aware, and you just have to make sure you set them up to not get taken advantage of. Set them up for not to fail. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it's going to turn out. I still got, a lot of time between, then and now, because, he's not even in real school yet, and he's still in daycare. And if he was to experience any of that in daycare, it more than likely wouldn't be from the kids. It would be from teachers or whatever. But good thing about, at least in the morning, he got black teachers in the morning. So, as far as I know, there haven't been any issues. But you just want to protect them, but you're not going to be with them all the time. So you just got to put them up on enough knowledge that when they not with you, that they can handle their own. And hopefully when I get to that point, I can put enough in him where he will know how to handle himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what though, man? Like, and I guess I was just looking at it recently because, like, at least among black demographic, like, it's also being broken down to a new level where colorism is starting to borderline on racism, right? So it's like, and I can understand that from going to Brazil, because like Brazil is like one of the most diverse places on earth, and at the same time, it's like the more European blood you got, the more better off you are because of the fairer skin you are. So I'm sitting there and like I'm looking at it, and like I never really thought about it till recently, because like I always tell people, and I live and die by this, because it's like one of those fundamentals of parenting. Like when a child is born, the subconscious is at 100% already. The thinking mind, the frontal lobe and all that is not at 100%, but the subconscious is at 100%. And if they're seeing all of this and thinking about all of this, like, they want to understand it. So they sitting there looking like, don't none of these mannequins look like me. So right. so what is up with this, right? And then when you look at it from like a colorism standpoint, like, it's hard not to notice stuff like, all right, if I'm seeing music videos, well, light-skinned chicks are getting a little bit more representation than dark-skinned chicks, or if I'm looking out in the world, like I notice that people that are lighter than me but are still black are treated slightly better than me. And the thing is, that's already been perpetuated throughout history anyway. The lighter you are, the more likely you are to be.
Well off, yeah.
Exactly. You're probably gonna be working in the house opposed to picking the cotton field. But like, when you look at it, it's gotten to the point where it's been so ingrained that we perpetuated ourselves now. And it's like, that is one of them things that's like, it's even harder to prepare for, because you're already taught your kid, all right, you're different. But then it's like, all right, you know what? Even among us, you still different. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't really teach about colorism because it's one of them things that you gotta experience. But when it's done gotten so bad to the point where it's like, all right, you are already oppressed and held back for this reason, but among your own you held back and oppressed for this reason, because you know what, God forbid you do well for yourself and you make it out. Well, you're Uncle Tom at this point. If you're not making it out, then you know you this, that, and the third. Like it's so many things that you have to prepare a kid for in that conversation, that really it comes in stages, because like you have to have that first conversation that's like you different, and then you gotta have that other conversation where it's like, and I had that conversation with Adonis where I'm like, you know, you're gonna be different too, because you're gonna encounter some kids in Florida, especially in public school, where they're not as well off as you. You got two parents that, you know, can financially support you on a level that some of these kids can't be financially supported. They're going to look at you a different way. They're going to talk about you a different way. They're going to treat you a different way. And while that's going on, it's going to be some of the teachers that's going to treat you a different way. It's going to be like all of this is playing into the equation. And a kid is still at that stage where they're developing the ability to comprehend and understand all that. And then they experience it, and it's like, shit, well, how do I approach this? Because not only now has the nature of the situation changed, because he's in a new generation now and he's experiencing it different from what I experienced it, but also it's like, all right, I also think about how do I prepare him for this, so that whenever the day comes that he have his own kids, like what are these essential lessons that he gonna have to pass on, that you know that's transpired across all generations. And it's like, all right, well, that's a hard situation to be in. And when you see, I kind of feel bad for him at some time, because when you transition from a place that's as diverse as DC to a place that's not as diverse like Florida, like it's like, man, that's a hell of a different situation, you know. And it's like, all right, so how do I teach you how to not only understand this but interact with other kids so that you can, you know, somewhat convey the same lessons? And all his teachers appreciate it, but at the same time, it's like I almost have to visit them and check them on a regular basis to understand, all right, you know what? You already know my child is different in certain aspects, but here's why, and here's how you need to treat it. Cause he's not going to take certain shit from y'all either way. And what I mean by that is, if you do certain things, I'm going to know about it, and he know I'm not going to be cool with it. You know, like you're not going to be able to tell my son some shit like, you know, Africans migrated to America looking for jobs. Like, that's not exactly how that happened, and he know that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to feed him that bullshit.
You ain't going to be able to rewrite
history. And I'm going to come and check on you on it if you try to do it. So, like, it's so complicated that I don't think any parent from any demographic can fully understand what's that like. Like, I always tell people, like, the only people that I think can fully understand how that go is like, if you're a black person growing up in America, which is ground zero for what happened to you, the only similarity I can think of is that if you are either a Native American in America or you are a Jew in Germany. Like, those are the only way that you can comprehend what I'm saying to you. Otherwise, you can't relate to this struggle.
Big facts.
Yeah, but let a lot of them tell it. It wasn't as bad as
we make it out to be. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's a very intense but necessary thing to do, and just hope that, you know, more parents are trying to create more informed children, because they become the future leaders.
Yeah. That was a mouthful right there, man. That's hella important, as we already see.
So let's kind of switch it up to something a little bit more lighter, but equally, I feel as important, is courting. And, you know, since Corey wanted to put me on the spot, yeah, I think, when does courting stop? And let's get a definition of courting for the audience and, you know, for us. It's to be involved with romantically, typically with the intention of marrying. So, to non-married people, what does that mean?
I mean, since I'm already on the spot, man, I'm just gonna run with it. All right, because this is how I was raised and how I understand it. And I can say this because naturally, obviously, I got a mother, but I also got a sister. So it's like, I don't necessarily think courting stopped, because with that last part there that says intention of marrying, I think that's what extends it for me, because I never feel like I'm courting just a person. I'm courting their family. I'm courting their kids if they have them, because you merging those things, right? So it's like, I don't know where this concept come from that once I marry somebody, I'm good now. Like, nah, that's not really how that works. They married you for a reason, and they usually married you thinking that things are gonna be close to or similar to how, you know, things started out to be. Yeah, you're gonna have careers, kids gonna come into play, things gonna get busier, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, y'all still supposed to go out. Y'all still supposed to be able to have certain conversations. Y'all still supposed to be able to bullshit if that's what y'all feel like doing. Like, all that stuff still supposed to go on. So like, I never really feel like it stops. And honestly, like, I had relationships end where I didn't necessarily change my behavior, because I got there for a reason in the first place. So like, I'm a person where, and people hate it. I know they hate it. Well, like, I can, like, we could be broke up and I'm still gonna be like, you know, I dated you for a reason, so we still cool. Like, yeah, you done showed yourself, and naturally I'm not gonna marry you, and I understand that. But at the same time, like, I'm also not gonna treat you any differently from how I want my mother or my sister to be treated, right? Especially if I'm to the point where I'm courting you, because then, literally, I mean, it's like I tell everybody, you date people to find somebody you want to be in a relationship with. You be in a relationship with somebody because at that point you're essentially courting them, and the intention at the end of that relationship is marriage. Otherwise, I mean, and like, I'll tell people straight up, if it's not one of those two things, then it's a recreationship. You're here to serve some recreational purpose on my behalf, or really I'm seeking fulfillment on my behalf. This is not for you. This is really just because it's what I feel like doing at the time. And if it's that type situation, then you already know this is not courting. Don't introduce me to nobody that's important to you. I'm not going to introduce you to nobody that's important to me. And we can keep it 100 like that. But if I'm courting you, you know, yeah, you're going to meet, you know, shit. They're going to meet you. They're going to meet my mom. They're going to meet. And I mean, you know, I had that conversation because I was just sitting in this exact same room. You know what I mean? Like, you know, brought somebody here. I was like, all right, you know. I brought her here because I'm like, at this point, like, you done met Rich, you done met my mother, you need to meet the bro, you done met the son, because I mean, I need to know not only where it stand for me, but like, all right, where it stand, because I mean, I know my family, they all about my happiness, and that's really what they want for me, bottom line. But if any one of the people that's important get a negative vibe, knowing as rare as it is for them to get a negative vibe, like, that's an elimination. You know what I mean? Like I understand that people like, well, you know what? I'm marrying you. I'm not marrying the family. I'm like, yeah, but one, I trust their judgment to the point where it's like they wouldn't say nothing to me unless, like, absolute, like, literally, I know my family, they would never say nothing really, like, until like it's to the point where like I gotta say something. Like, before you make this mistake, I gotta say something.
Like, it got to be flagrant.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and if that's the case, then we ain't got no discussion to have. And I mean, me and you done had that conversation when like, people done been around. There been folk where you been like, nah. You know what I mean? and I was like, you see where they at. You know what I mean? You see where they at. Like, I'm like, all right. And that's the same thing. And like, people know for me, ironically, speaking of courting, like, that's a huge part of courting for me. Like, somebody might meet my mother, they might meet other people, but I always measure, you know, who somebody is off them meet three people, and usually they gonna meet, you know, my real brother sitting right here, basically my surrogate, damn near feel like real brother that I got over here, and I'm like, all right, there's literally, as of recently, there's only one person that met both of y'all outside of my son's mother, right? And I mean, y'all know that. So it's like, if that ain't what it is, you already know, like, I'm not evaluating it past a certain point. And there's been other people that's been damn close, and then they showed up. Like, they made it past that 90-day threshold, and they couldn't fake it no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right,